Hi everybody, it's Brenny. We're just getting started here. Carole should be on shortly. It is a new system we're trying. Please do type your comments in the chat. And I'm going to try to get this to be one screen right now so we don't have all four of these quadrants up. So just give me 1 second to see if I can figure that one out. I don't see these buttons. Oh, there they are. Okay, we want to go to this, I think. Hey, everybody, if you can hear me, please type in the chat. It says that I'm broadcasting and that we're live. You should just see me right now. Carole Hyder is going to be jumping on here shortly. I am going to open up quickly my email account to make sure she hasn't responded. I saw her on the line a minute ago, but like I said, this is a new Hangout thing. There she is. Okay, 1 second. Hello?
Hello.
Well, hi.
Hi.
I told them if anyone ever feels that they're nervous about technology, just I've gone through it all. Okay, so Carole, I'm going to send you, let me see. This is different than just normal Google Hangouts, so I just got off with technical support to learn a couple things.
Okay.
So let me see. I want to get you in presenter mode. Click on the button on the left to reactivate it. No, I don't want to. Let me see what this says. There you are. Hi, Carole.
Well, hi. I don't see you. Wait. Stuff is happening. Just a minute.
What are you seeing? Are you seeing you?
No. Well, no. Yes.
No. Yeah. You guys, this is a really good system. It's just new and different. So this is our second Hangout. Last time, Carole, all they saw was me.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, can we get somebody else on here? So
I'll tell you what I have. I have a black screen. I have a still life of you, a still picture, and then me sort of moving around a little bit.
Okay, now I did it, I think, correctly. He told me when I have this red button on, you should be on screen. There it says Carole Hyder under your name. What are you seeing? Are you seeing me now? Or you?
No, well, there are two little pictures, one of you, one of me, and mine is the only one that's live, that's moving around.
Right, because I've got you on the big screen, and hi, Deb. Hi, Ann. Yes, we can hear and see you. Well, you know, who else do I want to do a test hangout with than my teacher?
Hold on. I'm turning camera on.
Oh, guys, she put a pretty little picture up, her still picture, Carole.
I did.
There we go. Camera's on. Good to go.
I'm not seeing anybody.
I can't tell you for sure exactly. I know that you're on because...
I'm good to go then. I mean, I don't have
me now?
No. I'm not seeing you.
Okay, we're doing it right because you're popping in when you talk and I pop when I talk. So
all right.
Let's go, baby.
Let's.
So, Carole, I'm glad you did the interview because I had just done a class pretty much on the same thing, an online class as you, and I'm finding it interesting how suddenly it's always been about the space around you reflects your life, which we know this is true. It's one of the 4 principles, but now we're really getting into the mind of it.
Yeah. It's evolved. It has evolved, hasn't it, Brenny? And in fact, I find that true when I teach it as well, that people are like, yeah, I know where the bed goes. I want to know more. I want to know how this impacts my depression. I want to know how this impacts my sense of empowerment. Yeah, that's where it's going.
Well, and one of my favorite quotes is by Nikola Tesla, and he says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Yeah.
That's Feng Shui.
Yeah, that is about Feng Shui. You're right. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't know that. He said it. But you're absolutely right. That is all about Feng Shui. Yeah, the energy of space.
So, Carole, let's talk, because one of the things people are always asking is about this law of attraction and why they're doing everything right and then things don't work out. And that's what you're really talking about is, you know, just kind of like that it doesn't do any good to hang a mirror up if you have clutter. So you're kind of talking about you need to clear out the clutter of your mind so that you can move on. Do you want to, you know, talk about that a little bit with the listeners, and I'll see if they have any more questions?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that there's such a metaphor between what your built environment says to you and what's happening in your life. And so, I think that originally, and maybe this isn't even original, but it was certainly my perception that originally Feng Shui was about just set your stuff up in a certain way, in a certain position, and then that will all make it you'll feel better. The truth of the matter is, you're right, that didn't always work. And part of the reason it didn't work is people were just setting things up and not thinking about a couple of real important key pieces here. One is, what's my goal? I mean, am I hooked into my goal? Am I hooked into my, am I committed? That's maybe a better word, hook, as opposed to hook. Am I committed to my path, to my journey? Am I willing to walk the extra mile? That's the first question. And then the second question is, whatever I just did, do I just feel good about that? Like, for instance, if somebody, like, let's say, gets rid of a lot of clutter. So most of us would go, well, why wouldn't they like that? Why wouldn't that be fabulous? But the truth is that if it's not done on their terms and in a way that's comfortable for them, that room could be Zen-like, and they aren't going to get the benefit of it. And so there has to be an engagement on the part of the person who's working their space, who's manipulating their space. You know, just recently, and I thought this question had hit the dormant stage or the extinct stage, but just recently I had somebody say, I was going to bring a group out to do Feng Shui, and she said, do I have to be there? Yeah.
Might help.
Wow. So that's the piece, is that I think some people are doing things, but they're unengaged with what's happening. And so in order to really take it inside, and that might bring some results, but I question the longevity of the results, and I really question the I don't want to say the validity, but the accuracy of the results. So if somebody is on fire about something, see, this is why things work that we go, that shouldn't work, because somebody's on fire about it. You know, I've told this story, I don't know if any of you have heard it, but one of my very first appointments was a woman who had just read a teeny bit about Feng Shui, and she corrected for something. She was so excited because everything happened for her. She was so excited. And so she wanted me to come out and help her with more things. Well, when I got there, the issue she thought she had, she really didn't have. And in fact, there was no correction needed. But she was so engaged and committed and entrusted that process that it actually worked when it shouldn't have worked. So I think that piece is really becoming important. It doesn't mean you can just do anything, because she didn't just do anything. She did something that she thought was really specific to help her with a particular issue. And lo and behold, the energy kicked in for her. So you don't get people that do that kind of work very often, where they can. I usually have to talk them through it. Like, here's a way to, really think how we're going to do this, and how does that make you feel, and how does that, are you engaged with this? Does this really sing to your soul? Because if not, I think the law of attraction isn't gonna do much. They're empty. It's an empty gesture. The law of attraction requires that you meet them halfway, or more than halfway, so that you can get what it is that you want.
Yeah, I think I remember your big sign with the 4 principles, and intention was foremost. I can see that over and over again in my head. And what really resonated for me, Carol, is what I saw, because I'm so visual, is I saw this great big target. And that if I didn't set my intention, how did the arrow know to hit the target? So by doing intention, it knew to hit the target. And then when you put emotion into it, it's like putting a jetpack on it and shoo.
Yeah.
Because we all know when you really want something and you're emotional about it, and that you're totally focused, and they call it in the zone, things happen quick, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Brenny, I don't know if you heard, I think this guy might have been living up near you in northern Minnesota, but there is a guy who won the lottery a few months ago, and he said, I knew I was going to win the lottery. I just knew it. I knew someday I was going to win the lottery. I didn't know when, but I knew it. And he won. I mean, he won a lot of money. And all of his friends were like, yeah, he's been talking about that for years. I mean, he's always saying, I'm going to win the lottery. You watch, I'm going to win the lottery. And by gosh, if he didn't. And I think, that's the kind of faith that you want. You can't paint your whole room purple and go, gee, I hope I get some money. That's not the kind of thing you want to attract, and it's not the confidence, it's not the commitment that's needed to allow your space to reflect that to you on again. That says, it's not that I wanna, I'm gonna make this money. I can feel it, because that when your body gets engaged, just like his body, he just knew. He knew in his every cell. He knew, and it's hard to get there when you're filled with fear and doubt, because it seems like, well, that ain't gonna happen to me. But if you know it is, if you know and believe it is, it will. So I think that intention piece is huge. It's just a huge thing.
I remember on the show Survivor, the first one, Richard, I can't remember his last name, but he said right at the beginning, I'm going to win this. I've seen the check written with my name on it, and you win $1 million. And I'm like, that's the perfect example. He had no doubt, and he said, I didn't care what anybody said. I knew I was going to win that, and he saw the check, and that's what you want. When we talk about that you can't just paint your room purple, that's because you have to be in vibration, people. Your frequency has to match that, you know? Yep. And it's really simple, and the great thing I think about Feng Shui is you get to design your life, and you can look around and see what's not working. Mm-hmm. I have a question for you about the office. Hi, Anne. Thanks for always showing up. We really appreciate you. You're a great participant in the Feng Shui world. So it says, can two people with home-based businesses work in the same office space? For example, a husband and a wife.
What a great question. Wow. I have to say I've seen this. I've never had anybody ask me directly. I've seen it when they were working in the same business. They were in business together. Mm-hmm. I think that there's definitely a possibility that could work really well. If you're having to toss around the power corner and who's going to be where, that could bring up issues if they're 50-50 partners. but that's where I've seen it. I've not seen, let me think, I haven't seen two people, like a husband and wife, be in the same office running separate businesses. I think that could be a challenge.
I actually had a student, and I had him post pictures in my private Facebook group, and it was her and her husband in an office. And at first he was running the show. He had, of course, Carole, the big desk in the command position. She had her back to the door in this tiny little flexible thing. So I think the whole thing is does your energy get along? Like, for example, I love my dad. We are oil and water. He does everything the opposite I do. We can't work together. Yeah. It would not be conducive for me to be in an office with my dad with that energy. Mm-hmm. Now, if it was somebody else, like I get along with you real well, and we're right on the same wavelength, and I don't think I would have a problem in an office with you at all. And I don't think we'd even have to talk. I would be telepathically going, yeah, sure, okay.
Be answering each other's questions, yes.
Yeah. So I think part of it is, what is the business, and are you equal? Because just like the bedroom, for example, if you have the split bed, or you have only access to one side, or, you know, I think that that's a lot of the play here. She has added a little bit more, and it says, the room is over a garage next to a family room. It is considered a 4-bedroom, but has never been used as one, and it's in the wealth area. Wow. Okay, so you got it over a garage in the wealth area, a husband and wife sharing a home office business.
Well, I'm less concerned about the garage piece since they're not sleeping there.
Right.
And you know, the wealth area, I guess I'm curious as to whether it's the wealth area on the floor they're on, or on the floor, are they over the wealth area from the lower level? That might make a difference.
So, Anne, when you say you're in the wealth area, if you can type in the comment box a little bit more specifics. Are you over the wealth area from the ground floor, or are you in the wealth area when you go up to the next level, meaning when you stand at the top of the stairs, that's how you lay the bagua? She's typing.
Okay. Okay.
And let's just make a comment, Carole, because we do have lots of new listeners, and we have entrepreneurs and business people. Let's just, while she's going to respond to that, let's talk about why you made the comment, I'm not concerned because it's not a bed over the garage.
Yeah, the garages are technically uninhabitable space. Although I realize that lots of garages are quite well finished and some are heated and all of that. The point here is that it isn't, you don't go like read down there, or you don't go watch TV in your garage. It's for a car, and so the problem with that is, number one, there's huge doors that open up, and so the chi, comes in and out in just a huge way. So there's all that movement, and then the car is electromagnetic. There's a lot of EMFs around it. It's also, there's gasoline and toxic things. There's also, a lot of times the garage is a storage place for stuff. So the energy is just a convolution of things that are not healthy. And so to sleep over it is definitely an issue, because you're so vulnerable when you sleep. Your veil, if you will, I don't know how else to describe it, but your energy is so delicate at that point that anything coming up through the floor can affect it. When you're up and you're working, your chi is stronger, and you can deflect it in an easier way. So I'm less concerned about that, although, there might be some other issues, that it's cold because the garage isn't heated and the door's open and all that. There could be that going on, or there might be fumes coming up from the garage. That would not be good. But from a standpoint of just being in a garage, over a garage that works okay and the heat's fine and all that, I don't really have an issue with that. I think I wouldn't correct for it.
So her response is, and I'm a little confused, but maybe it makes sense to you, is it says it is the first floor garage is under, and I said, so over the wealth area, and she said the garage is in the basement floor. So it sounds like the garage is here, on top of it is their office.
I get it, sure, sure. I wonder if this is a split level house.
And do you live in the Minnesota where we're the land of split levels that keep Feng Shui practitioners busy?
We do like those for that.
No. By the way, it's a beautiful day in Minnesota, at least where I'm at, Carol.
Okay, not so much here.
Really?
No,
Oh,
we
I'm
have
sorry.
no sun. It's rather chilly.
Oh, it's 65 and sunny.
Oh, no.
Which to Minnesotans is a very beautiful day. We don't.
Yeah, we take that any time. No, it was supposed to. It's supposed to clear up. It was supposed to have cleared up by now, but it hasn't. It's still dreary. Yeah.
She's typing a little more.
Okay.
Let's keep talking, you know, while we go through this. Everybody, if you have questions, if you have a home office, if you're planning on a home office, if your husband works at home, your family, whatever, ask us questions. That's what we're here for. They're just quick, in and out, 30-minute Q&A, so we have about 9 minutes left. We're going to try and honor our time. And you can go back to this over and over. I'll have the link for that. And the chat does appear. So when you put your question in there, if you don't remember it, you'll be able to go back and read this in the future. So, Carol, why is it so important that we work on our minds when it comes to our office?
Well, obviously, in your office, one of the goals is to be productive and creative. And you know, if you're not thinking clearly, neither of those two things are going to happen very well. So it's a place where, you know, I think one thing that happens with offices is they can easily get cluttered. And I know for my own, because I'm always working on my office, always, because I can walk out and come back, you know, like I go out and get a bite to eat or drink water, and I come back and I go, you know, wow, am I been working like that? You know, because you take stuff out of files and you got things and notes and pieces of paper. And I watch myself get all sort of, you know, spinning. It was like, wow, I pick up a piece of paper for the 5th time going, oh, yeah, that's what, you know, deal with it. This is what I tell myself. Let's deal with it. Let's, you know, it's got one thing on it that I need to do, like put something on my calendar. Well, let's do that. So, you know, I think an office really requires a lot of discipline, not only to get your work done, but to keep the space in a format or in a state that is always reminding you that your mind is clear, that you can come up with great ideas. It's a creative place. It's a place that allows you to get some things done, which is what we always want to do, or to move forward in some ways, even if it's just a step-by-step thing, day by day. And there's also a fine line between having a place that's creative and lets you think outside the box, and then it gets just downright cluttered. It gets downright, you know, over the top. So you'll know. I mean, you'll kind of know when all of a sudden you look around and you go, I have a lot of stuff here. This is really starting to get, you know, wear me down. So does that answer your question, Brenny?
Yeah, and you know, the thing about it, Carol, is we're human. I mean, we struggle in work. Obviously, I have a pretty neat, organized office because it's the metal in me, and I live alone, you know? So
yeah.
Now, when my nephew lived here, it was a little different story. It wasn't quite as organized. But we have okay, it seems that there's a lot of people on the call that their office is over a garage on the 2nd floor. They're not split levels. They're, you know, and colonial. And so to me, that's not a negative thing. Like you said, if it was bedroom, I'd be concerned. But office, if it's not, like you have a dirty garage and the smells and...
Yeah. I mean...
I don't know if it was your class or what, but I somewhere saw, and I can see it clear as day, is one of the cures, as we call them, or adjustments, was somebody was an artist and they painted a tree in the garage with the intention it was holding up. I think they might have had a bedroom. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, that's a traditional adjustment. If you have a bedroom over the garage, you can actually just do a visualization that there's a tree growing up in the garage, you know, and there's a sturdy tree, not a little wimpy thing, but, you know, a huge redwood, if you will, and it comes up in the middle, and right under the floor of the bedroom, it branches out. So the bedroom actually ends up in a very strong and stable treehouse. Yeah, that's a very traditional thing to do. You can also put stones in the bedroom over the garage, you know, one in each corner to ground it. Better yet, if the stones are from that property, so there's a connection. I mean, if you know, don't live where you can get any stones will work, but it makes a better link if it's something where you went outside and you found some stones laying around. They don't have to be big boulders. They can be just little rocks. And you put those one in each corner of the room, and that will also connect.
I don't know why you couldn't use that cure for a business too, for a solid, stable, supported business.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Exactly. You know, I think, and certainly if somebody's feeling unsure of themselves or feeling like they aren't, well, you know, they can listen to their own words. If they feel like they're not grounded in their business, or they feel like they really don't feel centered in their business, you know, all these words we use that is begging for earth, and those stones bring earth to the setting. Mm-hmm.
Well, long as you brought up words, Carole, you got some CDs that I've, of course, watched. And books. And I remember specifically your one book, and my wheels were spinning. I could never get a grip, and I would take Carole's book and I would open it up, and it went right to about bald tires.
Okay.
It's just amazing, you know, how the synchronicity. I still find Feng Shui amazing and miraculous after all this time. Why don't you tell them? Because you've got CDs that talk about your words, you've got books that talk about it, and I'm just getting a drop-in feeling that some of the people here, that would be really good for them to go check out. So if you want to talk a little bit about that and then give them your website, that's awesome.
That's great. Thanks, Brittany. Yes, I have 3 books I've written, Feng Shui books. One is called Wind and Water, and that's the one Brittany was probably referring to, because it was actually started out to be a day-by-day book. So there was like a thought a day per page, a thought per page. And so you could just open it up and go, oh, well, there's all about curtains, or there's all about bald tires. Then the second book I wrote is called Living Feng Shui, which is a book of client stories. And so a lot of what I said in my first book, you'll see in action in the second book. And then the third book I wrote a couple of years ago called Conversations with Your Home. And this is really taking Feng Shui into a new arena, which is saying that your home is alive and that you can actually have a conversation with it. So those 3, they're on my website, CaroleHyder.com. That's Carole with an E on the end, CaroleHyder. I have 2 DVDs. One is called The Science of Feng Shui, and I also have another one called Listening to Your Language. Those are also there, and those are DVDs. And then recently, there's also some programs I've done, The 4 Faces of Money, and I've got one called Money, Spirituality, and Feng Shui. But I've also done a collaboration these days with a Grammy-winning musician from LA, Jeff Bova, and we comprised music. The first CD that we did is now being distributed by Sounds True, and it's called Harmonize Your Home. Sorry, they changed the name on us. Harmonize Your Home, and it's using the 5 elements to balance a space. And it really came on the heels of my Conversations with Your Home, because I came to realize that we do Feng Shui at the home and not with the home. And so this music is for your home. You can listen to it, of course, but it's intended to balance the home. And then the second CD is called The Bridge Home, and this is all about transitions and changes. It was originally for hospice space, but we learned that Really, it isn't about that kind of transition alone. It's about any sort of transition. Again, letting your space help you make that transition. So they're both available on my site as well, and that's CaroleHyder.com.
Did you say the bridge home, like a bridge over troubled waters?
Yes, that bridge.
Don't make me sing, people, because I will. Carole knows it, too.
Yes, please.
No,
it's all right, Brenny. No. Okay. No, we're not sharing an office, ever.
Oh, come on.
Ever.
Why? We always have fun.
We do. We always have fun.
I put the links in the chat for everybody, how to get to Carole's website.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the name of the CDs and stuff. I highly suggest you go check it out. She may be my teacher, but I've read everything and listened to everything she's done, and it just makes sense. I'm excited about the music, Carole, because I love using music as a mood changer. It seems to be one of the only things that work for me. If I get out of whack, I can go outside, which helps. But, man, if you put on some really good music, it's, for me, instant.
There's a lot of scientific data out there about how vibration and sound can really impact somebody's health. They're doing a lot of studies with people who are sick and about to go into surgery, coming out of surgery, and they can't dispute the data that says that sound, that kind of vibration, will impact you. Absolutely.
Okay. Is Carole's office on the second floor?
Yes, my office is.
Let me see what nickel. My office is over a garage on the second floor. Is that a bad place? Nope. Talked about that. That's a great place. See, Carole's on the second floor, and she has a small office.
Very small.
I got a huge office on the main floor because I'm single and I can do that.
That's right. I am not, and I can't.
Her cats take over. We won't go talking about cats.
And here's the thing I deal with is it's small, which is nice in that I don't keep much. I don't, if files 5 minutes old, sometimes I have to get rid of it because they don't have room. But the other thing is that I deal with is that it's right next door to our bedroom. And so I have to have a little routine and ritual that I close the door. I also have a red rug right outside my office door so that I'm not like in here, like coming up to bed and, oh, wait, I'll just check my email one more time. I got to draw a boundary. It's hard when you're doing home office to do that boundary thing.
I've had to do that with clients, and I have to do that myself because mine is close to my bedroom, and it's like you walk out and you're like, oh, I'll just quickly go check that, and it's like, it's to the point of my sister gets off at 11 and she calls to make sure I'm not on the computer.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Good, you have a good monitor there. Yeah. Well, I have a husband who makes sure that I leave it alone, and that's good because like you, if I were single, I'd probably pop in a lot to take, just take a look and see what's going on. And we want our minds to be clear when we're here in the office and not tired.
Right, Carole. A question about is the Science of Feng Shui the video that you show the vibration with when we talk about Emoto and stuff?
Yes. It has Dr. Emoto. It has Hans Jenny work on there about how 30, 40 years ago they were doing studies on how sound will vibrate in a certain pattern, and it will create pattern in sand. It will create pattern in water. It will. I just saw something on YouTube. In fact, Jeff sent this to me. It was they had some sort of a plate, a metal plate, where they had a fire going on it, and they inserted tones under it, and the fire danced in a certain way. So I don't have that on there because that's a recent thing, but that's all on Science of Feng Shui. Yep.
It's really good. They play different sounds, and it shows these different crystalline structures. Yeah. And it had a big impact on me. I went out and, of course, researched immediately Emoto, and one of the things is I remember the water.
Yeah.
The hate one, and you said, what do you see? And we all saw this person like with a knife stabbing someone.
I know.
And coming from a sister who's Catholic and a mom and dad who's Catholic, and you know that, we don't even have to go there. I would take water and put it on something that said I hate you, and then take another glass of water and put it on I love you, and have them taste it. And they could tell the difference. One was sweet and one was nasty.
Isn't that something? Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, just think about that, you know. Think about that if you want somebody to get well and you're serving them food or soup or a glass of water. I mean, what if you put some loving, you know, thoughts into that water, or just said a prayer over it, or, you know, or blew kisses into it or something, you know. Just think of that, how that changes for them.
Carol, I do that during the day when I'm working. Like, if I feel I want my heart to open up and have more love, like I have this little heart, and then on the back of it I'll write, may my heart be open to love, or, you know, anyone who thinks of me or hears my name is blessed with, you know, pure love and light type thing. And all it takes is little bits of pieces of things to do like that.
I know. Yeah, makes a difference, doesn't it? Yeah.
Let me see. I have a Maine Coon like Carol, and she is a definite office cat. I'm a dog person, so I don't even know what a Maine Coon is, but
I have, mine is not an office cat. In fact, I don't know if you can hear her. She's having a fit about something right now. The fact that I'm tied up and not at her beck and call, for one thing. She's an office cat. She doesn't want to sit here with me, but I have one of her daughters who often is, and she was just behind me here in my chair. She's gone now. But she sits here a lot, and it's fun.
It's just stirring energy up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to honor the time the best we can, so it's a little bit past our half-hour Q&A. Thank you, everybody who showed up.
Yeah, thank you, all of you. It's very nice. Very fun. It's fun to do, Brenna.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and, you know, we're getting better and better. It just takes a little bit, new process, but I think it was a good call. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you, Brenny. Take care. I love you.
Bye, everybody. Love you, Carol. Thanks.
Bye-bye.